Hi. Um, gonna be honest here. Portions of this video are being recorded for three different types of classes. And so if what you see does not match what you see on the screen, that's why. I then have gone ahead and recorded the personalized part to splice in for the specific courses. But this coming fall, I am teaching an online global policies course. I am teaching a few sections of an online American government course and three sections of the hybrid American government. So, in order to utilize my time, I am going to do a generic one, which is what this starts off with, and then the individualized parts. So I can all just put it all together and it doesn't take me nearly as long. So, first and foremost, hi, I'm very grateful that you actually clicked the button for the start here. If you didn't, then you probably aren't watching this video, but I'm going to put the link to the video also in the announcements. There is a lot to know at the beginning of the course, and so that's what this is here for. So first and foremost, let's look at the class. All right, so here you go. So like I said, this is going to be for multiple things. So we've got our global issues. Anything that has this image is going to be for the online American government, and anything with this image is my hybrid American government. So there you go. Notice that all of these have the same thing where it says begin with the Start Here module. I have a welcome announcement reminding you of other stuff you have to do. Let me take a moment to point out this right here. If you need to contact me, that email address will reach me the quickest. A lot of people, for some reason, will just keep sending stuff through Brightspace, but I don't get any messages on Brightspace until I log into Brightspace. And so if you're needing an answer quickly, this email is the best one to use. This is what I recommend everybody use. And copy and paste it into your contacts or whatever, because I have people who will tell me they kept emailing it and I never got it because they didn't spell something correctly. So there you go. We then have our Start Here. Begin the course with the Start Here module. If you clicked here, that would bring you here, and it's telling you again, Start Here module. Now, how I would do it, go to content, and it should give you this whole list on the side. I've been working on it. I've got everything set up. At Start Here, you click here, start with this video. That's this video right here that we're making. After the video, you go to Start Here after video. This is going to recap most of what I'm going to say right now. So the basic information you must know is I lock everything down. A lot of people have taken classes where they just get used to clicking on the tabs at the top, going straight to the discussion, straight to the quiz, whatever. If you do not open each of the weekly files, nothing that week will open. And I even go a step further, because if you didn't open this week's file, you can't open next week's file. So you have to open the files I'm telling you to open. That is where right here, number one, always open the weekly file. Then look over the syllabus. Clearly, this one is going to change depending on which course you're in. This will bring you to a syllabus. I'll show you that in just a little bit. Then we have the course-specific information no longer listed in the syllabus. This is because SGSC changed the way we do our syllabi, and we have been given a template. We put very specific information there. All the extra information is now available for you here in Brightspace. Whether you read it or not is up to you. It is posted so you know the rules. I recommend taking a look at them. Class agenda. We will totally be looking at this in just a moment as well. The class agenda breaks down how the entire course is going to be set up. Also information about the group project, which I will talk about in a moment. And then here, make sure to read and understand the rules for discussions. Oh yeah, oh yeah. For the online classes, of course you have online discussions. That's what we do. If you are in the hybrid class, our discussions take place in person. So you do not have any online discussion in my hybrid class. For those, we are conducting it in person and there is a quiz. And I will go more into detail on that in that personal video. And then here, the welcome announcement, which I showed you just a second ago, which is reminding you that you have to start every week by opening the weekly file. Now, if you look at this part right here, it tells you make sure to do the contract for course in order to unlock the course. This means week 1 is closed until you complete the contract. And then I have to specify you have to make 100% on the quiz. Last term, I did not tell people you had to make a 100 because it never occurred to me people would not make a 100. Every one of them is just basically making you aware of specific rules. And it's like, I understand that. And then it's true, false. They're all going to be true because you are basically agreeing to the terms of the course. I'm not going to change it. And if you don't agree to it, you can't unlock the course. It's that simple. So there you go. Once you do the contract for course, week 1 will open. So when week 1 opens, you will see here, it has week 1 file. So you click on the week 1 file. So for American government, whether it's online or hybrid, this is all pretty much the same with the exception of the discussions part. But you will have the PowerPoint for week 1, quiz 1, extra 1, and then reason versus excuse. There's a little lesson with that and a quiz. For your quizzes, and let me go ahead in case, I hate when I bring it up a little too far. Come on, go away. There we go. I'm going to bring it here just so you can see for the global issues course. Week 1 is also pretty much the same. You've got the reason versus excuse video, quiz 1, discussion 1. For global issues, quiz 1 goes with the reason versus excuse video and it counts as a quiz. For American government, you have a specific quiz. And I believe the reason versus excuse quiz might be extra credit. But anyway, you can see that everything is set out the same. I've got the whole thing already started. But what I do want to show you, see, I'm trying to be fair, doing all of them. One of the big ones I truly want to make sure you see is under important papers and such. We have your syllabus. We have important dates. That's what I want to look at right here. All of the terms, all of the courses, sections have this, the important dates. I highly recommend taking a look at them. This is letting you know the first day of class, Monday, August 17th. Drop add period is that whole first week. Dragon Con is Labor Day weekend. The school is closed, I believe, on that Monday, but I work Dragon Con. This will be my, I think, 12th year, maybe 13th. I am the captain of disability services at the Hilton Hotel. And so I work the whole thing. And because of that, there are days we will not have in-seat class. And so I put here, there is no in-seat class September 2nd through 8th. So that means the Wednesday and Thursday before Labor Day, there is no in-seat class, but there is that Tuesday. And then the Tuesday after Labor Day, there is no in-seat class, but there is that Wednesday. There will be posts in the content in those weekly folders in order to make sure you know. Midterm is October 8th. I do not do a midterm exam in any of my courses. Instead, you just keep track of your stuff, your grades. I keep them up to date. I give you 7 days from when I post your grade to argue your grade. That information is found here in the course-specific information, no longer listed in syllabus. I am really good about keeping up to date on grading because it is my personal opinion that how can you keep doing, assignments if you don't know how you're doing? So I grade like that. I do my best to do it as quickly as possible. You are supposed to keep track of your grades. And midterm, it'll show you you've got in the grades area, you will have current grade, which is keeping up the whole time. And then you will have midterm grade that locks at midterm. So you know exactly what you were at midterm. Okay. Um, Last day to withdraw to receive a W grade is October 22nd. Then registration begins for the spring at the end of October. Thanksgiving holidays, there are no classes Wednesday through Friday for that week. I assume that means Tuesday we're supposed to meet. We'll revisit that one as it gets closer. And then the last day of classes, Friday, December 4th, and the final exams are that following week. These are the SGSC wide dates. So there you go. Now, let's jump to elevator pitch because I'm doing elevator pitch in all the courses. The class agenda differs, so I'll come back to that. Elevator pitch. Last term, I realized how many people can't tell me what they actually think or believe. And that really bothered me. So you will have to prepare on your own. I'm going to be asking you questions, and you will have to book a meeting with me. And it's a 15-minute window that you're booking with me. You have less than 5 minutes to tell me your political stance and your personal thoughts, beliefs, ethics, whatever. Pretty much the first stuff we cover in the term is about your political identity and things like that. A lot of people have never really thought about it. That's literally what you're doing in this course is you have to think about this. And so when you feel like you have an idea of what you think and your beliefs and stuff like that, you make the appointment with me. You have to tell it to me in under 5 minutes. The shorter, the better. And then I ask you questions. That's the kicker. You have to be able to answer the questions I ask. You get 2 tries. If you do great that first time, you're done. You don't have to ever do it again. You're done. If you don't do as well as you hoped, you always have a second chance because now you'll be better prepared. So I'm going to tell you right here, in-person appointment or online appointment. I have 2 different things. If it's an online appointment, you have to have your video on. If you click on these, I'll go ahead and show you this one. It's going to take you to my bookings page. Oh, goodness. I should have already logged in. Never mind. It will take you to my bookings page and you'll see you sign up for a slot. If you do not see any time available that works with your schedule, email me and we will pick another time because my schedule is like this. It's all over the place. I am on Waycross sometimes, Valdosta others, and I live in the Atlanta area. So if the times I have open on there don't match your schedule, email me. We will work out a different time. I am even able to, on some weekends, work with you if that's the only time you have available. I will work with you, but you have to be proactive in reaching out. I need more than just a day or 2 notice. Sometimes it might take me a month. So start early. Now, what I want you to see, everywhere I had possible, I have put the rubric. So the elevator pitch grading rubric, if you click that, you should be able to see this. This is what you're being graded on. Notice it's either you did it or you did not do it. It is that simple. So your political stance and beliefs. Are you able to clearly explain your thoughts, opinions, beliefs, and your political stance? And I'll give you an example in a second. Contrary stance and beliefs. If all of your beliefs, your ethics, your religion, whatever, matches what you say your political stance is, you get full points. If they don't go together, you don't get points, because you can't tell me you believe one thing and then you stand for the opposite. So that's part of what you're being graded on. Whether or not you're able to answer questions. Because last term we had these projects, and when I asked questions, I discovered over half the class could not answer questions about what they say they believe. So you need to be able to answer the questions I ask. And I'm not trying to ask trick questions. It will literally be what pops into my head at the time. And then timing, keeping the pitch under 5 minutes. Again, shorter is better. So that is the grading rubric for the elevator pitch. Every one of my courses are going to do this. So just so you know, you're ready. Now, I did say I would give you a small example. Please don't just try to copy what I'm going to do here. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. One example, say you're a dual enrollment student, you are 16 years old, you've never in your life even thought about politics, you think it's just ridiculous that you even have to take this course. So you have no idea what your political stance is. That's valid. So what I would expect you to do would be to come in and say, I've never really looked into politics. I don't know if I even really care just yet. I don't have my own political stance. I know that my family seems to say XYZ, or my family never even talks politics. My family doesn't even vote. So I don't think I have a political stance, but I'm Jewish. And so I have a lot of very firm Jewish beliefs. All of that is valid. That is you personally. But if you do that, I'm going to ask you about those Jewish beliefs. Like, what are some? And how do you think that would fit in with the current administration and things of that sort? If you come in and say something like, I am a diehard Republican. I think the Republican Party is the best way to go. And I think everything the Republicans do is absolutely wonderful. And I am a firm Christian, and I believe that you need to make sure to always take care of all of the children. That would be a case where there's some contrary stance there, because the current Republican Party has cut free lunches for children in public schools. Whether you are for or against it doesn't matter. But if you state, I am staunch Republican and I believe you need to take care of all the children, the current Republican Party has gotten rid of free lunch for children. So that is not taking care of children. I hope you can follow that. Same thing where if you come in and say, my grandfather was a Democrat, my father was a Democrat, so I'm a Democrat. And I think we need stronger borders. Those don't go together. So that's what I'm meaning. You can just give an opinion about something, but you need to make sure your politics and your opinions or your ethics or your morals or your religion all match. And that for a lot of people gets difficult. And it is what you're getting graded on. It's not that you're being graded on whether or not you are a Christian or whether or not you are a Republican or a Democrat. It is literally making sure that you are supporting what you say you believe. And I think that's extremely important. And that is going to be a theme through the whole term. So there you go. That is the elevator pitch. Everybody has to do it. Okay, so let's go back to, oh, that opened a tab. Close. It's been a long day already, dude. Okay, so there we go. That's the elevator pitch. Couple of other things. I just think these are good to have. I don't know if you know that going to SGSC, you have mental health care for free. And so I've included this for anyone who needs it. Notice it says you can click right here. It's a hyperlink to take you to there. And they have a phone number and everything, because a lot of people have a lot of hard times. School can be stressful, life can be stressful, everything can be stressful, and your mental health is extremely important. It is more important than a grade. And I want to make sure that you have access to a source that, you know, is not going to cost you a dime. So there you go. All right, Ground News. This is a website that I think everybody needs to use, and you're going to be required to use this. I have a paid version. You can use the free version if you decide you like it. You can, get a subscription. It doesn't matter. It's entirely up to you. Why I recommend this and kind of push it is, notice right here, left, center, right. Ground News has all kinds of different topics, and it lets you know if it's left leaning, right leaning, or centered. This is important because so much is biased. And if you are only looking at one side, I don't care whether it's right or left, you are not getting the full picture. So what I require is you have to look at multiple sides. So you could pick the same, I'm just going to go to this one. Oh, that was not a good choice because that didn't show any of the other. Hold on. We'll go to this one. So this one shows you that we've got 4 left-leaning articles, we've got 2 center articles, and we've got 8 right-leaning articles. So what I would tell you to do is pick one of the right-leaning articles to read, one of the left-leaning articles to read, and read the center. You have to read the same story multiple ways to make sure you're getting the full picture. Am I going to say you're not allowed to use a particular news source? No. If it's an actual news source, feel free, but you also have to look at the other side. And it has to actually be a news source, not just a website. There are, last term, I had a lot of people who just kept trying to use the Heritage Foundation for their source. That's not a news source. So while you can say the Heritage Foundation says, sure, but that's not a news. So I'm specifying in discussions, news articles. This is how you are to do it, is to go through here and get left, center, and right. So that's what we're going for. Okay, now that was Ground News. Legal Eagle. Legal Eagle is a website. They have a YouTube channel. I shouldn't say it's a website because this link here is literally to the YouTube channel. Sometimes I'm going to give you a specific video from them to watch, and then there will be discussion with it. Other times you are going to be told to go there and find something. And let me just show you. Hopefully it doesn't automatically play. Yeah, there we go. This is what it is. So Legal Eagle is a channel where they talk about the actual law of things. And that's why I use it, because in this day and age, you will get so many things said where people say something is blah, but they don't know. They're just repeating what they've heard. Most people have watched enough courtroom dramas that they think they understand the way law is supposed to go, but it's not as simple as you think. A lot of news places, a lot of news sources oversimplify in order to make it more palatable to the person reading. Legal Eagle tells you the actual law. So then they can say, this goes against the law because XYZ. They have a whole lot having to do with the Constitution, and that's something we're going to be talking a lot about throughout the term. And so I will be pushing you towards Legal Eagle a lot. So I highly recommend getting familiar with it. And on the times where I tell you to find a specific something, all you have to do is go here. And then, like, I can say democracy. and then you will see some stuff pop up. Some obviously you don't need, like this. Probably not going to be something we need for our class, but you can find some very interesting stories here, and you can see how recent they are or how far back they go. So this is extremely helpful, and you will be using it throughout the term, no matter what class you're in. I will be having you do that. Okay, the final part that is mostly the same for all the courses is the semester-long project. It is extremely similar to all of my classes, but there's small differences. Sorry, I got distracted. I hear my kitten playing over there. The basic thing for your semester-long project, and I'm going to stop sharing so I can chat with you for a minute here. You're going to be put in groups. If you're online, you're going to have group discussion boards that you are required to use. As in, the group discussion board is part of your grade, your personal grade. If you are in the hybrid class, you will also have a group discussion board with some stuff that you're told has to be discussed there. But you will also have in-person time, and you're getting graded on what you're doing in class with your group at that time. So everybody earns a personal grade in their group. The overall topic is going to be different terms we're covering, tying it all together. You're going to be covering like misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, various political styles. This is why this works both for the global issues and our global policies and the American government. So the difference I'm doing this term is every group is going to be told specifically what they're covering. So each group is covering something different. Very important to pay attention to what I tell your group that you have to do. I will be setting up the groups. I know for the online groups, I set them up before the class even begins. I go simply by the class list a couple of days before class starts. I just go ahead and put you into groups, so it's ready if you're ready. So on the online groups, if you can't find a group that you're in, and your name will be listed, you have to tell me, and I will try to remember to keep an eye on it, and groups kind of get adjusted. The in-person class, I haven't decided yet. I've done both where I have gone ahead and just assigned it, but last term I had fun and I just wrote stuff on papers and scrambled it up and had everybody just randomly pick. So I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but I'm leaning towards that. And so if you're not in class on the first day, you're going to have some trouble getting into your group. We'll have to figure it out. But just know there is a semester-long group project. This semester-long group project you are supposed to work on for the entire semester. A lot of people, I would hesitate to say most people, think that they can just not worry about it until a couple of weeks before it's due. That is not recommended. It is a high point item and a lot of work. If you wait till the very end, you will not be able to do well in the project. I say that because I am going to ask you questions, and you're going to have to be able to answer my questions. And if you didn't even look at any of the stuff until a week or two before, you're not going to know the answers. The other part is you are being graded from the very first day of class. You are being graded on this project. You are going to be told to do certain things at certain stages. Like I already said, the group discussion board, you're being graded on how often you're on there every single week. The individual part is, I want to say, like almost 3/4 of the grade. So make sure you're doing what you're told to do. I am a big proponent of rewarding good behavior. So if you do what I tell you to do from day one, you're golden. If you think you know better and can just wait until the very end, not going to go so well. Which brings me to this. Everything that is online closes at 10 p.m. on Friday. The stuff for week 1 is open for 2 weeks solely because a lot of times there's financial aid issues and people get added late or added, dropped, re-added, stuff like that. And so for the first week, it's open for 2 weeks. After that, no. Things lock Friday at 10 p.m. Not 11:59 and not on Saturday, but Friday at 10 p.m. Those are the rules. If you wait until Friday to even open stuff and then you can't get something done, not my problem. I highly recommend start early. Yeah, you will have a quiz every single week. Every single week, there will be a quiz. For the online courses, you will always have a discussion. Your discussions will span for 2 weeks. So it will open on a Sunday, midnight, when Saturday becomes Sunday. The first Friday at 10 p.m., your first post, your initial post, your answer to what I'm asking is due before 10 p.m. on Friday. After 10 p.m. on Friday, that counts as the second week. You then also have to be active that following week. And then the discussion will lock Friday at 10 p.m. If you are in my hybrid class, you have to be present to have class discussions, and there will be quizzes. As in open-ended, I will be handing you papers and you will be writing your answers. This means you are expected to bring stuff to write with and write on to class. I will not be giving you papers and pencils. I say that, but then I realize, no, I probably am giving you the paper, but I'm not giving you anything to write with. You are a student coming to a college course. You are expected to bring your material with you. These discussions, and for the hybrid class, discussion/quiz, these are worth a lot of points. I believe I have them at 40 points per, something to that degree. So they add up pretty quickly. You don't want to miss that. I do everything on the point system. And what that means is I guarantee you 1,000 points by the end of the term. 1,000 points would technically be a perfect score. I say technically because I actually make a lot of extra available, but I'll come back to that. By it being a 1,000 point system, 100 points is a letter grade. So the fact that SGSC does have a D, that means from 600 to 699, that would give you a D. Anything below 600 is an F, you've failed. 700 to 799, you get a C. 800 to 899, you get a B, and 900 and above, you get an A. Very important. 899.99 is a B. I do not round up at all. You have to have gotten it over the hump in order for it to be the next letter grade. That means keep an eye on your grade. Do not ask me about the whole, it says here that I got a 74%. No, points. We go by points. I can't help it if Brightspace is going to keep trying to shove percentages down your throat. You are looking at point value. Everything has a point value. Keep track of your points. The reason I say keep track of your points is, say that you've got, I don't know, 2 jobs, you're a single parent, and you signed up to take 5 classes because you're in a hurry. and you're exhausted and you are like, oh my gosh, I just don't have time for all of this. I wish my teachers understood I have more than just this. Trust me, we know, but you're the one who signed up for the course. We have to cover a certain amount of material. You have to do the stuff to get your grade. If you're in this kind of scenario and you are perfectly happy having a B, you don't care about that A, you just want a B. In my course, as soon as you get over 800 points, you have a B no matter what. So you could have 803 points and then not do anything else in my class ever, and you will still have a B. Totally on you. That makes it where if you bust butt at the beginning and you do all the extra things I make available, you can have a good grade before you even get to the very end of the course. So then if life is too hard or one of the classes takes way more effort, that's fine, as long as you've already gotten your points, but you better make sure you have those points. So part of why I love the point system. Every single term, I have students who take advantage of this and they finish the term with well over 100. So they end up having like 125%. I have dual enrollment students who I have to give numeric grades to having like 114 or 125. And that makes them look good. But then I also have people who will have like 30 because, and when I say 30, I don't mean 30%. I mean 30 points out of 1,000 because they didn't bother doing anything. It's entirely up to you. The way I set up my course, if you do what I tell you to do, easy A. Like, not gonna lie, super easy A if you just do what I tell you to do. The thing is, a lot of people don't want to do what they're told to do and think they know better, and then they have issues. So it's entirely up to you. I have made it available, and I will even help you, show you how to make it super easy, but you have to do it. And I do require you be active every single week. Let's see. I think that's most of the generic stuff for how all of this is done. Now, I think I should do the agenda for each of the classes. So then you know the breakdown. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. For the discussions. This is just a heads up telling you we are obviously going to be talking politics because that's what kind of class this is. I'm telling you right here, one of the number one things I want you to do is challenge your own beliefs. If you 100% believe something, challenge it. This is one of the more difficult things for most people and one of the best things. I am a science teacher above all else. I am now political science, but I spent the past 12 years teaching biology and environmental science, as well as teaching political science. The science way of solving a problem is failure to, that's what was, sorry, my brain blank, failure to disprove. So if you really believe something is true, it is really easy to prove yourself correct. We all know how to do a proper search online in order to prove what we say. That doesn't prove it's right. So when you 100% believe something, you need to try your hardest to prove yourself wrong. You will learn so much more that way. And in the process of proving yourself wrong or trying to prove yourself wrong, you're going to learn so much more, not just about yourself, but about the whole topic. And a lot of times you might not be able to prove yourself wrong, which means you were right in the first place. But it is that process of trying to prove yourself wrong that is the big growth for people. You're supposed to try to educate others by sharing actual news and or scientific articles. This means not not blogs or memes or any of that kind of thing. If you see something that amuses you, feel free to share it. I am not saying you can't do that. But where education is involved, you need to have a valid source. So take a moment and read over this whole thing in order to understand what I am expecting in your discussions. Now, talking about discussions, if you go to the discussion tab, you're going to see a nice big post. This is telling you how your discussions are going to go. So for the full points, you have to remember your first post. It says your initial post. That means the first thing you post has to be there before the first Friday at 10 p.m. That is listed as the due date in the calendar. Then you also have to respond to people. You have to be active a minimum of 2 different days per week for the discussion. So that means if you wait until Friday night to post, you've already lost points because you have to post at least twice per week, a total of 4 times. 2 times in the first week, 2 times in the second. The best way to do this would be make your initial post anywhere between Sunday and Thursday. Then come back a day after that post and post 1 reply. Then come back the next week, 2 different days, do 2 more replies. If you've done that, you've already met all of the mechanics right there. Where it says, make sure to watch the video about the rules and grading rubric. That's this one. So, I have stuff popping up on my screen, so I'm trying to get rid of them. What in the world did I just click? I wonder if you see it too. Do you? There we go. I don't know what that was. Okay, so this is again just reminding you your first post is due before Friday at 10. If you want full points, you have to post before Friday because you're going to get graded for if you've posted before Friday. You're going to get graded on if you posted twice in the first week. I should say 2 separate days the first week and 2 separate days the second week. You have to reply to at least 3 people. And remember, it's a discussion. It's not a, I agree. Wow, great writing. Or one that really annoys me, the flyby question, where you just slap down a question and you never come back. It is totally fine to ask questions, but you better come back to see if they answered it and comment on that. This is supposed to replace what we would be talking about if this was an in-person class. I do not want papers. This is not a paper. I do not want a title page. I do not want it to sound all kinds of super academic. You are being graded on being casual and sounding like a human being talking. AI, not allowed at all. If I have evidence in there of even part of it being written by AI, you get an automatic 0, just so you know. All right. This other part a lot of people seem to have issues with is you must post in the discussion. No attachments, no screenshots. Actually type your response in the discussion. So, example would be here for discussion 1. You click on discussion 1, you read what it says, you type start a new thread, hi, and then you type here, hello. That is what you do. And then you hit post. You do not upload anything. You do not type it somewhere else and then type in here, my post is attached. No, I will not open it. You will get a 0. You must actually type in here for your discussion. All right. Leave page because I don't need it. Now, notice here, grading rubric for discussions can be found here. This is how you're being graded. So right here, personal and casual. You either get 10 points for it being casual writing and not academic. Or you get no points. There is no in between. I either feel like an actual human is talking to me, or I feel like somebody is trying to give me a paper. First post was on or before 10 p.m. the Friday of the first week. Or no points. It was after 10 p.m. on Friday. Here, full points, active a minimum of 2 days per week. The week is Sunday through Friday. Active less than a minimum of 2 days per week, or active only 1 day. So if you are only on there 1 day, you get 0 points here. Fully answered the topic, mostly answered the topic, clear that you made the effort, you just might have forgotten something. Or you didn't really answer it, or it was just a whole bunch of fluff. Because a lot of people copy, paste into AI, and then copy and paste that as their discussion. That's not going to match what I am asking for you in your discussion. At which point, you're not going to get any points. Critical thinking, display critical thinking, did not display critical thinking. I need to see that you thought about what you said. If, let's see. I'm teaching the courses online this summer. And one of the most recent ones, we were talking about impeachment. And the number of people who clearly used AI for this, because, dude, I promise you, the number of exact sentences I get from people is insane. And this one is something along the lines of, I personally believe that impeachment is beneficial as long as it is due to overwhelming evidence and not due to a political blah, 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 blah. That's fine if that's what you think, but there is no thinking there. You have to, if you state that, tell me why you're saying that. You can't say it shouldn't be used for political blah, 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 and not give me an example of why you're saying it. Because none of the impeachments that the country has had have ever been for a political motive. It's been due to overwhelming evidence of wrongdoing. And to make that statement and not back it up, that shows you are not thinking. So when you make a statement, you have to show me why you're saying it, and it has to make sense. All right, thoughts and opinions. You have to tell me your opinion. I do not allow, I can see this side and I can see that side, and then you not give me an opinion. It is okay to say, I can see why a person says this and I can see why a person says that, but I believe you have to be clear. Notice the all caps, clearly stated. If I can't tell what you're saying, you can't get points for it. If you're hemming and hawing and not quite being clear, I can't give you points for it. You have to clearly state, I think, I believe, my opinion is. I need to know without a shadow of a doubt where you stand on something. That is a big thing for me in this class, is getting people to learn to stand up and say what they believe. We're not all going to believe the same thing, and that's okay. That's the way it's supposed to be. But everybody should clearly state what they think. Notice you also have to back it up. You can't just say, I think this, and not give me a reason why you think it. Content and interaction. This is where it says you have to reply to at least 3 people. And you're supposed to be responding to people who respond to you. You're also having to further the discussion. Notice it says no fluff. Interact with at least 3 classmates and had 2 really good responses. That means if 2 of your 3 responses were really good and one of them was the, I agree, water is wet, that kind of thing, that's where you go. Replied to 2 instead of 3, but they were good. Responded to only 1 person, or all of your responses were ridiculous, like I agree. And if you didn't respond to anyone, or only replied with fluff, like all of them are only fluff, 0. Written properly. You don't have typos. You had paragraphs. Let me emphasize this. You had paragraphs. I can read it. It looks like a college person wrote it. And when I say it looks like a college person wrote it, I mean, you know that you capitalize the letter I when you're referring to yourself. You know that you capitalize the first letter of a sentence. You use periods at the ends of sentences. You use an apostrophe when you write things like wasn't or can't, that kind of stuff. I want the casual speak. So I am not going to pick on you for a more casual tone, but it's not text speak. You do have to use punctuation. And finally, your sources. You have to have valid sources. You have to have them in your original post. You cannot attach them to a second post. They must be in your first post. And you have to specify what fact goes with what source. This does not have to be perfect. You can literally just put a number after a fact of a number one, and then at the bottom say one and give me a hyperlink. I am not looking for the perfect APA format. I know most of what you do is going to be online. So a hyperlink that I can click so I can verify what you said, that's what I require. And just putting a bunch of links at the bottom of the paper or at the bottom of your discussion doesn't count, because I need to know what fact came from what source. So that is what this is right here. And notice here, if Wikipedia is one of your sources, you automatically lose all points in this category because Wikipedia is not a valid source. So those are the rules of your discussions right there. Okay, ready to go over that agenda stuff? Here we go. All righty. We've already talked about the start here, the welcome announcement. Don't forget about this email address. So content. Go to important papers and such. And I just remembered something I forgot to do. All right, so we've got our syllabus. Let's take a look at the syllabus. Most of this is going to be very basic. This is the email address that I already gave you before. This is the office phone number. I am only actually in the office this term a little bit on Tuesday and all day Wednesday when I'm not in the classroom. You can leave a voicemail here and the system's set up to send it to me, but I don't really do phone calls all that often. And so emailing me, you will get a much faster response. Okay, this is your new textbook right here, The Political Imagination and Introduction to American Government. This is my brand new textbook. It just came out, notice 2026. So it is brand new. I love it. Now, I've talked previously about the point system, but this is how your points come about. I have already told you that there is a weekly quiz. Each quiz is worth 11.25 points. You have discussions. Your discussions, as discussed before, go over a 2-week period of time. So for this, your discussions are 40 points each. That's all of it. And we've talked about the rubric. Elevator pitch, already covered that. That's 50 points. That means that's half a letter grade. Your semester-long project is worth 150 points. And we will go over that rubric farther in the term. You then also have exams. You have exam 1 and exam 2. Each of those are worth 100 points each. And then you have a final exam, and your final exam covers the whole term, and that's worth 100 points. So if you add all of that up, that will equal 1,000 points. I offer a lot of extra credit throughout the term. It's already built in. Do not ask me for more because it's already there. And for that, you just need to do it. There you go. So I will give you an example of some of this extra. Oh, by the way, the rest is just this stuff. I will tell you right here, I do not take late or makeup work. If you miss the window, you missed the assignment. That's all there is to it. I don't do it. So that, by the way, is covered here in the course specific information, no longer listed in syllabus. And I also tell you what's allowed to be turned in. And right here tells you I do not and will not accept any late assignments. So there you go. It's all in here. Now the example about some extra. Notice here you see extra 1. This is a quiz, multiple choice quiz, unlimited tries. You can do it as many times as you want. These are every single multiple choice question available from the test bank for the chapter we cover each week. And it's an extra 10 points. Since there are, I already forgot. I have to go to the agenda, which we're going to talk about in a second. Yes, there's 14 chapters. And this one we double up. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That is 13 extra credit quizzes already available at 10 points a piece, I believe. So that would be an extra 130 points available for you right there. That's more than a letter grade. But since we're here, let's go ahead and talk about the class agenda. I have your whole course laid out, week 1 through week 17. So you will see which week number we are on. These are the dates. This is from Sunday to Saturday. But remember, things are due Friday, not Saturday. So here at the end of week 2, everything is due on the 28th, not the 29th, the 28th. Most weeks you have exactly 1 chapter due. Week 9, I had to double up because I didn't want you having to do material over Thanksgiving holiday. So that kind of messed us up a tad. So the way this breaks down is you're going to do a chapter, blah, blah, blah. And so week 7, you finish the first 7 chapters. Week 8, which happens to be midterm, you're going to be working on your projects and your first exam. Exam 1 will cover chapters 1 through 7. Then week 9, we have to cover 2 chapters to stay on track. And then after chapter 14, the week of Thanksgiving holiday, you do have exam 2. Just knock it out early, and then you've got the whole week off. If you wait until Friday to do it, that's your own doing. Your exam 2 will be open that Sunday. So if you hop on Sunday or Monday and knock out that exam, you're done for the week and you can take a week off. Then week 16, your projects are due. Those semester-long projects that I mentioned previously, those are going to be due week 16. And then week 17, you just have your final exam and a little wrap up. Yeah, I think that is pretty much the only personalized information I have for you right now. So I would say just make sure to stay on track. Make sure to do exactly what you're told by when you go to week 1. Click on week 1 and go through this material. Every week, I am going to give you information here on what you're doing. Example, let's go to week 2. Week 2, it's telling you, watch this, watch this. Actually, this is telling you about legal. This is the one you have to watch. And then continuing your discussion, because your discussion 1 was open for 2 weeks. I tried to make it as easy as possible where it says discussion 1, weeks 1 and 2. That way you can remember. Hopefully you noticed this. Let me go back. Well, I'll go to week 3. May as well. Notice on week 3, it tells you do this for a grade. Discussion 2, do this for a grade. And here in week 2, it said continue this for a grade. I try to tell you next to each of the hyperlinks what's going on. Notice they're also over here. I try to make it where if you follow the instructions of going to the weekly file, it's going to tell you what you need to know. Sometimes I give you extra hints in there. So some people will just open it because they're told they have to open it in order to get to stuff. Other people actually read it. I recommend the reading it. Your discussions, already covered the rubric. They're personal. They are not just a copy paste something from the textbook. I have tried to bring regular stuff in and blend it with the topic of the textbook. But each term, it should be completely different because things keep happening. I am also going to be challenging people with the whole social media thing and making you do some research. I just haven't decided where that's going yet. And yeah, so I guess that is it. So message me if you need anything.